Hello, we're in the research department at the very heart of SEL. This research department is where we deal with all the administrative details and calculations to work out how to build the electrical infrastructure of the wind farm in the best conditions. So, when we know what the client needs, the research department gets to work on it. The process is divided into several stages. The first is to defend the client's interests from the technical side, explain or put the client's case directly to EDF or other authorities concerned by the project. Next, we set about the cable layout, doing the drawings and then going on site to see if it's technically makeable and what the engineering requirements are. Then, we have to apply for permission to trench the lines. That might come under Articles 49 or 50, fill in the forms for the local equipment office, notice for commencement of works, that sort of thing, all the paperwork. When that's done, here in the research department, we issue the plans for the buried lines with the exact measurements, etc. Based on this, we can order the cables and then start work on the site. The second phase is substation. We find the one best suited to the client's requirements and the site, then draw up the plans of its outward appearance and inner workings, meaning the wiring between the high voltage cells, equipment and so forth. When that's done, we can order all the parts from our suppliers and start building. The way we bury the lines depends on the terrain. There are 3 ways to bury lines. On really difficult ground, or over short distances, we use the conventional mechanical shovel. Or there is the intermediate solution with a trencher. But whenever we can, as here, we use the blade. This is a method which doesn't damage the ground. So agricultural land isn't affected, because we don't touch the topsoil and get dead earth mixed up in it. The farmer will get the same yields as he did before we laid the cable. It's also a quicker way to bury the line and a lot safer for the cable and the men working round it. The medium voltage substation will be built while the cables are being laid. The parts will be inserted in the concrete cube's construction as per the research department plans and then connected up. After that, it all has to be checked. This is done in several steps. First, the assembler checks his own work. Then it's checked again by the assembler together with someone from the research department. In the meantime, all the tests are run, powering the parts, operating the circuit breakers, testing the circuit breakers, etc. After that, we draw up the quality sheet so we can assure the client that his purchase is in working order and be certain ourselves that the substructure is operational. The substation is built in our workshop and checked through and through before it's delivered to the site. Then on the site, we go to work on the subgrade. For that, we get in an outside research agency to check the substation. We get in EDF to do commissioning runs and help them in this. We do C1300 and on-relay GTE trials. We check circuit breaker operation for consumption and power production. Then comes the last phase with the connection of the buried lines. This means we start at the substation, we connect up the substation and then each individual turbine. When all these steps are done, we power on the entire farm, or part of it, depending on how the turbines are assembled. Once we've run the tests on the substation, we connect the turbines to each other. We start with the substation connections and then each turbine. Before connecting, we check the cables by testing them by VLF up to 63 kilovolts, very low frequency. We test at 3 times the nominal grid voltage, that is, for example, 36,000 volts, to check there are no faults on the lines. If there are underground voltage boxes, we check they hold up well. Then we do the connectors, and once that's done, we run another test at 36,000 volts. Then we connect up the whole farm. When all these phases are completed, research department, trenching the lines, building the substation, testing the cables and connecting them, SEL's part of the process is over, and we go into operation mode and deliver the site to the client. When the site is delivered, we have 2 more things to offer. One is the maintenance contract, and the other is the command webcam control system with remote and alarm functions on PC, an electronic warning system to optimize farm operation time.